Good morning, everybody. It's Positive Tuesday today, December 22nd, 2020. Yeah. My birthday this week, Fitzy.
It is.
It is, actually.
On
Friday.
All week.
What?
All week is your birthday?
No, it's my birthday week, yeah. Yeah, that's how we do it at our house. I want presents every day because it's, my birthday. On Friday. Me and Jesus. That's the other one.
Jesus. Your Jesus' birthday, huh?
Yeah. Shellick's school superintendent, David Bridenhagen, will be joining us later in the show to talk about a whole bunch of things, but how the first half of the school year has gone, plans for the second half, and even looking a little further down the road as we kind of take a little peek into fall of 2021. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA, who is wishing everyone a safe and happy holiday season. ICAA is your local social service organization that works together with individuals, families, and the community to create and support local solutions for local needs. For a full list of services from ICAA, check them out on their Facebook page or visit their website at indianheadcaa.org. Fitzy, good morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I think it'll be better tomorrow. I'm going to the eye doctor tomorrow.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
For what?
My tooth hurts. What do you think I'm going to the doctor
You're
for?
just going to get a checkup, or is it?
Yeah, no, I can't afford to not anymore. So I had like a 49-inch TV, and I couldn't really read like the tickers at the bottom, like watching sports or anything. So I just, got a 55-inch TV.
Right here, baby. Right here.
Yeah. And then that was not going as well after about a year, so I got a 65-inch TV.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that broke, so now I'm down to a 55-inch again, and I'm really, it's time to. So here's my little philosophy on how I deal with problem solving in my life. Number one, find a workaround, like the TVs. Number two, just ignore it and hope it goes away, which come to find out your eyes don't work that way. And then three, just wait for my wife to do something about it. So she set up an appointment for me, and I'm going to the eye doctor tomorrow. First time in almost 20 years.
Yeah. I thought we were going to have a disclaimer. Kids don't do this at home.
Yep.
When you're going to think of your solution.
Right.
I would have just went and bought an 80-inch TV.
Yeah, that's what I said. And you just said, that's it. We can't keep affording these bigger TVs. Just go to the doctor.
It might be cheaper for the TV. They're getting pretty cheap.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said.
If they just listen to us, right? If they just listen to us.
I know. So what's been new, and just to be clear, it's not like I can't see. I can see cars when I'm driving. I can't read their license plate or their bumper sticker, but I can still see them. Yeah. Anyway, so what's been new with you since our last chat last week?
Pretty quiet weekend, personally and professionally. So just
Nice.
wrapped some Christmas presents, got ready for Christmas, and ready to hit it hard this week. And hopefully we'll get everybody to their travel destination. I'm not liking the weather so much, but we'll get into that a little bit. But other than that, not much is going on. Watch some hockey, and got a little hockey tonight, and that's what we do right now is hockey.
Yeah. What is the record for your team?
We are 4-2, so we're doing pretty good.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. I play hockey all the time on my PS4.
Yeah, me too.
And Mike Schaefer makes fun of me all the time because I try to get into hot fights in the game, and I'm just terrible at it.
Hopefully Dave can help us a little bit with what he does to the kids and teach us a little.
Yes. All right. So
what about you? What have you been doing?
Well, honestly, a lot of it has just been with the holidays, and I've talked about this at nauseum almost with COVID and being what it is. Can't have 26 people all together, so it's just taking it in chunks. So my dad came over last week for a while. My second oldest daughter Annalise was up for the weekend. My sister Danielle over in the Twin Cities, her husband, and my niece and nephew came over for a gift exchange on Saturday morning for about an hour. Mom, of course, was here on Sunday because we always do our Sunday Bible study. So we can't all be together at once, but it doesn't mean we can't all be together. Right. We just have to kind of space it out a little bit and keep it a little shorter time. So, it is what it is. As long as we can still be together, that's cool. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and that's the COVID update. I mean, our numbers have been dropping. It's been wonderful, but we just need everybody to continue to do what we're doing. The vaccines are here in Barron County. Some people have got the vaccines, and our doctors and nurses and our nursing homes are first in line, and they should be. And so that's a good thing. But everybody's got to keep doing what they've been doing for a little bit longer here, and we'll get through this. And there is some light at the end of the tunnel, and what a better time for it to be at the end of the tunnel than Christmas and the holidays. And
Yeah.
while they might look a little different again this year, but everybody just keep doing what they're doing. And we really appreciate all the support and helping our numbers go down. That helps both our public health and our hospitals out. And, that's what we need to do right now. And I think everybody can do it for a little bit longer, and we'll get back to a bigger and better 2021.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, it would be.
That'd be nice. I can't wait for January 1st for so many different reasons. But just at the very least, just to say 2020 is over and we
Right.
made it, right?
Right.
Good
And there's a
night.
light at the end of the tunnel, and
Yeah.
I think that's what. Not that January 1st we're gonna be able to flip the switch and COVID will be gone, but I think there's some light at the end of the tunnel that people see, and there's some realities out there, and everybody just keep doing what they're doing, and we'll have a great summer in 2021.
I hope so.
Yep.
So as usually after, kind of do our little chit chat, we like to go through any pressers that you've sent out or any stories that I've done or anything that's kind of about Barron County that at least we've put on Dried and Wire in the last week. One thing has not been on Dried and Wire because I couldn't find information, but over this weekend,
Right.
I had a whole bunch of messages about a train crash, and we've had unfortunately, some conversations about some train crashes in the past, just this year in Barron County. I can't remember if it was like Cameron or Chautauqua. I always get those mixed up.
Right.
Where'd you go? But do you know anything about a train crash, or I should say a train versus a vehicle crash? Not a train
Correct.
crash.
Yeah,
Do you know
the
anything
train
about
didn't
that? Yeah, right.
The vehicle crashed into the train. Yes, there was
Yeah.
some minor injuries in the village of Cameron on Saturday afternoon, and a vehicle failed to stop for the. I don't know if it's a yield sign, stop sign. I don't know what's there, and slid into the train. Minor injuries, so nothing major there, thank God. And that's what happened. So we did handle that train versus car crash on Saturday
It
afternoon.
was Saturday. Okay,
Saturday afternoon.
sure. I had put something up about, it was from, I think, Public Health, that there is some testing. So going back to COVID, but that was one of the things we had posted. I think it's today.
No, tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Oh no, today. You're right. It is today. It is today.
Yeah, so there's testing for anyone for COVID. Where is that location? It's from the Wisconsin National Guard COVID testing.
Right.
It's in Barron, not Barron. I mean, Barron's in Barron
Yeah.
County, but it's in
Right.
Barron, right?
It is. It is in Barron at the fire hall, which is right next to the McDonald's in Barron, and you can get COVID testing. I'm just looking it up. I think it's every Tuesday for the next 16 weeks, I think, or 12 weeks or 8 weeks or something. So
Nice.
basically every Tuesday, December 22nd, which is today, then it's January 5th, 12th, 19th, 26th, all Tuesdays.
Good.
So January, February, and March, you can get free testing. And today, right at the Barron Fire Hall, you pull in, and the hours are from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's free of charge, and you just pull in, and they test you, and you're in and out of there very quickly. So if you want to get tested, or you have symptoms, or they pull right in there. The National Guard does a fabulous job of doing that. We want to thank the Barron Fire Hall for letting us, use their space, and it's heated for the National Guard members, and it's really great free testing. So we got it set through the middle of March.
Excellent. Excuse me. The next was a single vehicle rollover crash. I'm sorry, I'm just reading my headline. I just copied and pasted it
Right.
this morning. Single vehicle rollover crash results in death of Chautauqua man. Anything that you want to expand on with that?
Yeah, it was a one vehicle, one person, tragic accident involving a 29-year-old male from the Chautauqua area. I don't exactly know what happened. Maybe a slippery part of the road, but he was ejected. So seatbelt usage was, a factor in that crash. So buckle up. That was just a tragic accident. Met with the family, and just a sad one vehicle,
Yeah.
one person. So
Out
wear your seatbelt.
of curiosity, and I'm sure you don't, obviously, if I'd told you about this before, you probably would have had some numbers. But just in generalities, how many do I want to ask this? When it comes to a fatal crash or a significant injury, is it more often, I'm assuming it's a lot more often, that you find those when someone isn't wearing a seatbelt, right? I mean, I would just assume that's how it goes, or it's about 50-50.
No, I would say it's probably less than 50-50. Obviously when a person's ejected, obviously that they're not wearing their seatbelt, they're more than likely not wearing their seatbelt. But no, them serious crashes, a lot of them are just from the impact. Maybe it's a side impact, you pull up from a stop sign and get hit by, a lot of ours have involved big trucks, semis, dump trucks, things like that. So it doesn't matter if you're wearing a seatbelt or not when you're, pulling in the path of a dump truck or a semi or, crossing at Highway 8. Highway 8 seems to be, bad when they have these head-on crashes on Highway 8 because there's so much travel and there's not a lot of passing lanes on Highway 8. So that's all stuff we look at. We have a traffic advisory committee. We look at that and look at intersections that may have multiple accidents to see what we need to do. You look at the roundabouts up in Rice Lake, at the hospital, at the stoplight, and then at 48 and 53, and at the road by Don Johnson Motors there. All those roundabouts were put in there due to safety concerns based on traffic accident data.
Highway 8 seems to be, at least outside looking in, I don't live in Barron County, but it just seems to be the more times than any other road that I can recall when there's a fatal crash, Highway 8 is more often than not the road that it's on. Is that, again, without having data in front of you, do you find that to be true as well?
Yeah, I think it's the most heavily traveled road, in Barron County besides Highway 53, but Highway 53 is being 4 lanes divided highway. Highway 8, we don't seem to have the same head-on crashes we do on Highway 48 or Highway 63 than we do on Highway 8. And I can't tell you why, except it's probably more heavily traveled.
Okay. Next one was DNA Doe Project leads to charges of hiding a corpse from mother and son. I know we talked about that a little bit last week, but I ran an article after getting the criminal complaint sometime next week. Any updates on that?
They were just charged in Barron County. They were charged, obviously, with the murder over in Scott County, Minnesota. They were actually charged in Barron County with hiding the corpse. So they'll have to answer to both of those charges. Whether they get combined or not, I'm not sure how that works across state lines. But they were charged with hiding that corpse here in Barron County because that's obviously where the crime happened, and that they were charged obviously with the murder because the murder happened over in Scott County, Minnesota. So just part of the process of completing that whole case from start to finish. And again, hats off to our detectives for working that case from start to finish, over a couple of years. So takes a long time, but our guys never give up, and that's what's pretty great about the Sheriff's Department. They have this never give up attitude, and it's pretty nice.
We've talked about that in the past before. When you have a situation in an investigation where you really don't really have leads, over a certain amount of time, it passes, and it's like, well, we don't really. But it's not like you just give up and like, all right, we'll just throw that one in the in the trash and didn't get that one. You're still actively, or you still get tips, or in this case, you have another county, another state that is communicating with you guys, and I don't know, that's pretty cool how you don't give up, right? And even if it's not, we're putting all hands on deck in like a Jamie Claus situation that was obviously wildly different, where just everyone was actively working on it. You're still paying attention to it, and you're still keeping your ears to the proverbial ground, right?
Right, and I think the Claus case did teach us a lot of things. You never give up that hope. Some people are like, oh, you've used that word too much, but you never can use that word too much. This is the season of thinking about that, and there's always hope, and you never give up on cases, and you keep working them, and you keep doing what the taxpayers demand of us, and that's what we do here at the Sheriff's Department, and that's why we're transparent. We talk about this stuff, and this is how it works, but you never give up that hope on anything out there, and we continue to work on cases, and from drug cases to sexual assault cases to minor burglaries. We just never give up on them.
Who says you use hope too much? That's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Stop being so positive. Stop saying there's hope. Who says that?
You know how it is.
Well, that's true.
Some of the hate mail we get.
I got a great one this morning. I'll tell you offline because I can't say what it said online.
Right. It's just, I don't understand it sometimes, but People just need to relax a little bit.
Relax. Wasn't that Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah,
R-E.
yeah. I mean, but it was true. I mean, it was just like everybody relax. We lost, whatever they did when he said that.
Yeah, I don't
4
remember.
games in a row or something. And he's like, just relax. I mean, don't. It's not the end of the world. Aaron Rodgers lost a football game. It's not. So it's just. It was a good point. It was a great comment at a great time, and you just got to sometimes live like that.
Yeah, we should on our shirts. Oh man, remember? Oh man, I just remember like a month ago, maybe it was a little bit more. Someone off the shirt, and I forgot to follow up. Oh my goodness, I'll have to get a hold of that person. I got to remember who it was. We'll have to go back and look.
I got it.
All right, yeah, but then that'd be great. Relax.
Yeah, relax.
All right, and then the last
and
the last one I wanted to touch on was the headline here was Sheriff Fitzgerald announces the 14 members of newly formed Citizen Action and Advisory Team. Obviously, we've talked about this in the past, but what is the update? So it's all finished. Where is it right now, and what's next for this team?
Yeah, we picked it. We all met. We talked about some of the topics we want to talk about, and we're planning to meet in January. I'm a little behind. I got to send them a couple emails today, but we're going to talk about domestic abuse, race, diversity, drugs, alcohol, homelessness, law enforcement hiring, use of force procedures, housing, some different other topics. So they're going to educate themselves on these topics. Then they're going to educate the community. We might look at small groups. We had a lot of people that weren't chosen for this team. We're adding some other people to the team as advisors. We have Somali advisors. So we got a lot of people out there that maybe not named on this team. My lights just shut off.
Yeah, no kidding. The power's going out.
I got to figure that out. And so we'll keep doing that, and we'll make that team will take some action. And they are strictly an advisor to me. They don't have any power. They advise me on different topics from a different perspective, and I'm very excited about the formation of that team and the things that we're going to accomplish. So it's pretty great.
Out of curiosity, since this is a team that is assisting, I don't know if assisting is the right word, but right? This is your kind of thing that you had set up. Let's say you decide not to run, or somebody runs against you, and you're not the sheriff, whenever that is. In a couple
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's a fairy tale. Yeah. I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm going to run again.
But what happens to the team then?
Well, nothing. I mean, this team they can be disbanded at any time. I mean, they can choose to not serve on the team. I mean, but it's just an advisor to the sheriff. The sheriff can pick a new team.
Okay, I see.
Retire or whatever. So, but they'll be around for a while because I'm running again, and I'll be the sheriff for a while, I hope.
Yeah. All right. What else? That's all what I had written down. What else is going on that you want to kind of touch on before bringing our guest?
No, let's bring in our guest. I think we're good to go, and I'll have a couple comments at the end about the new year.
Awesome. You're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA, who is wishing everyone a safe and happy holiday season. I guess Chris just left. ICAA is your local social service organization that works together with individuals, families, and the community to create and support local solutions for local needs. For a full list of services from ICAA, check them out on their Facebook page or on their website at indianheadcaa.org. Let's bring in our guest. See how I do it here. Nope, that's the wrong button. Nope, that's the wrong button. Dave wants his own show,
and Dave wants his own show now.
Yep. I'm never gonna get this stupid thing right. There we go. Hey, Dave, you got to unmute yourself.
All right.
Oh, there you are. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good. I'm wearing my Shell Lake Laker blue shirt today. It's not a Laker shirt. It's the only blue shirt I could find. Just for you, man.
Well, I'm just assuming where it says Ben that's actually a Laker logo right behind that on the screen. So I'm going with that.
Nice. So, there's so much I want to talk to you about. But really, if you can kind of partly talk about the Shell Lake School District specifically, but then also maybe a little more, I don't think macro, right? A little more regional conversations that you've had with other superintendents. But first, let's just start with Shell Lake School District. Walk us through how this all started at the beginning of the school year when all these things were happening. And we have to, I'm assuming, quickly come up with what is our plan. So what was your plan, and did it all go according to plan when you started the school year?
Yeah, what our plan was to, we just came off that long break that was, I think, second week of March, and trying to figure out how can we make this fall look as normal as possible. Um, it seemed like things were changing with the Department of Health Services every week, so it was hard to really come up with anything. So we were trying to, yeah, so we were trying to come up with something that would really meet as many needs as we could for our families. So in doing so, we went with our traditional in-person learning model. But then we also had a lot of people contacting us saying, we're just not comfortable coming to school in the current environment. So we wanted to offer some virtual learning opportunities for them. And then also, I guess early on, we knew that our best chance to keep our doors open, which has really been our goal and continues to be our goal, was to have everyone mask up. And we made the decision, it was probably half a week before Governor Evers came out with his state mandate on the mask wearing. So when we first said that, it raised some eyebrows, but we felt it was the right thing to do. So we went with the mandated mask wearing, and the kids have been just phenomenal with that. You see the little kids all the way from 4 years old and up. They wear them, and is it comfortable? At this point, it doesn't really seem to bother them. I see them in the halls, I chat with them, and they're fine. And the big kids too. The hardest part is I see people, and I'm not exactly sure who they are sometimes because you're only seeing this much of them. It looks like Kilroy. Right. So that's really been the challenges, and so we're just trying to balance off those different learning styles.
Sure.
But it's worked out well because we haven't had to do any closings because of COVID. We closed a week after Thanksgiving, and we're going to, I say closed, we went virtual learning the week after Thanksgiving, and we're going to do the same after our winter break. And that was really just more of a precautionary measure so that we know families are going to get together. But if you do get together and you contract any symptoms or you need to be quarantined, at least we've got a week buffer in there to try to keep that from coming back into the school.
Yeah. So what didn't either go well, right? So when you started it, this is all new for everybody. And I know that in the spring there was that shutdown, but you had the summer and you can plan and you can plan and you can plan. But then all of a sudden the stress test, it's real life, man. That's it. We're all back. 2 weeks in, were you going, or maybe even the week before? How about that? The week before the school started, were you very confident? We got everything we need. We're good to go. It should be pretty smooth.
Yeah, we thought so. One of the challenges was our online platform. We went with the company to deliver our online platform, and we had things set up. We weren't, the numbers were still coming in. Some families were kind of waiting to see how the environment was going to pan out, if they were going to pull the trigger and come to school, or if they were going to stay home and either go with the virtual online situation, or if they were going to homeschool. And what it turned out that was really probably one of our biggest pinch points was our online learning. They weren't prepared for the influx of the numbers that they had for online learning. And when I say that, I think throughout, they don't just deliver to Wisconsin. So I think they were a little surprised by, wow, the need exceeds our ability to deliver. So we were trying to deal with that piece to it without knowing exactly how many people we had doing it. And we had some supply problems because this company also delivers supplies for the kids, textbooks, writing materials, reading materials. Those were late in coming. So that was probably the biggest hurdle that we had to jump. Now things are finally running okay, but that was a problem.
Right.
Yeah, I think our kids are very resilient. And you said that I wish our adults would learn from our kids about the mask wearing, because we still have problems with people at Menards or people at Walmart not wearing their masks. I'm like, you guys don't get it. These kids can do it all day. Even our kids in our sports are wearing them on the basketball court. They're wearing them on the hockey. They're wearing them everywhere. If adults could learn from kids a little bit, I think it'd be a lot better off. The world would be a lot better off, because our kids did a fabulous job of wearing their masks and being part of that. They wanted to be in school.
I agree, and I think that was a big motivator, honestly, because they knew what it was like. The alternative was don't wear masks and sit home.
Right.
And so you wear the masks, and I'd rather wear a mask than not see you. So, and I think honestly, I mean, when I see people for Christmas, my alternative is I don't see them, or I see them and I wear a mask in some cases. I'd rather wear the mask and still see them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
You had talked about the homeschool part of it, so I don't know if you have any a ballpark number, not necessarily number, but maybe a percentage or something. I didn't think about that part. I was looking at this. People are in school learning, or in person learning, or virtual learning. Did you have a lot, like, I don't know, 5 or a dozen people who said, I don't want to do either, and I'm homeschooling?
Yeah, we did. We had probably, well, it was several dozen, I would say. And, and when I got, many of them wrote me emails and said, hey, we love Shell Lake Schools. We will come back as soon as this pandemic is behind us. But for right now, we just don't feel comfortable being in this environment. You can't fault anybody, but I think the end result is it will affect our funding, as it will school districts throughout the state and throughout the country, because your state funding is based on your enrollment numbers. So when we have a family who was with us and they've gone to homeschooling, that's revenue that we don't have come in. And at the state level, they've been talking about, I think, from the Superintendent's Association, we're advocating for a hold harmless for this year because everyone's enrollment is just wacky. But I think that's going to be a tough one to get through the state legislature, because them not doing that, it ends up obviously being quite a bit of additional revenue that they are able to hang on to versus giving it to the schools. So we really hope that there's some type of hold harmless, because this year we have it's a 3-year rolling average, but it will come back to bite all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's too logical, so they probably won't do it right.
It could be. Yeah,
right.
It could be.
Makes sense. So we got to confuse the problem.
Yeah. So just to be clear, and I'm hold harmless, right? Could you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, basically, if they're holding harmless, they would say, we're just going to just kind of delete this number.
Sure.
So, for instance, if your enrollment dropped by 10, 15%, I mean, that's significant numbers. Yeah. And to say, okay, we know that they were really extenuating circumstance. We're just going to hold harmless on this. So we're just going to, if your enrollment, ours has been averaging about 625 a year for, I don't know, probably the past 7-8 years. And all of a sudden you get 1 year where there's a blip and it drops by 100 students. That, that's a big portion of, it's about 15% of your enrollment. So the hold harmless would really just be, okay, we're going to take that piece out of there. We're not going to penalize you for it. And I guess really it's a penalization because we're dealing with that one. Then also the state testing as well, because you've got that, which is an average. And once even when these first tests start coming out, we anticipate not only in Wisconsin, but across the country, test scores are going to be lower, because there was a pretty big gap in there of learning. And I think, there's some schools who still haven't started back from last March and they're still doing an online learning. So it's, some kids just don't learn well online, and you got to be pretty disciplined to be able to work at home and get that going.
Yeah. So out of curiosity, you said it's a 3-year rolling average, and I don't want to get in all the specifics and the details. We could probably talk for an hour about that stuff. But let's just say it is around like a 15% drop in enrollment, and let's just assume that is universal for everyone, right? And now, because it's a 3-year rolling average, so we'll just have to say that it's been 15% for 3 years, but whatever. The point is, or my question is, if it drops 15%, is that 15% revenue drop? Is it like equally percentage-wise?
Yeah.
Oh, snipe.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is, your revenue limits will change, and ultimately it will bring the property tax values or the property tax payments up to make up for what the state's not,
of course,
reimbursing.
Sure.
And I think what's difficult. Well, what's difficult to do too is, there's a lot of legislators who are under the impression that because we have fewer kids in school, it's costing us a lot less money to educate. And it's not, because most of our costs are fixed. We've got our teachers who are under contract. So instead of, and a good example would be instead of having 25 students in a class, we might have 20 students in a class. Well, we still have the same lights on. We still have the same work that goes out. We still have the same teachers. So those are pretty fixed costs.
That's
Yeah,
nuts. Yeah, it's kind of like go ahead, Fitzy.
Same with the jail. I mean, everybody thinks, oh, there's less inmates in the jail, so we can reduce costs, and
Yeah,
it's really
yeah.
similar to that, and that's a very good point.
Yeah, it doesn't work
Right.
that
You
way.
still need to have your jailers and your supervisors, and
Heat still has to be on.
Right.
Floors still have to be mopped. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter how many people are there. So that's actually really interesting. I want to make sure I contact a few of our area legislators to ask them where they are standing on this and kind of where it is. I did not know that was coming up and that was a thing. So thank you for sharing that. I think I'm going to actually follow up on some of that stuff.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Or I'm going to tell them you can't come on the show again.
Right. Unless you vote
Or
this
have
way.
them come on and just grill them. Yeah, I don't know.
See, we have power with this show.
Right.
We think we do anyway.
Yeah, we like to pretend that we do.
Yeah.
So, Dave, what have you heard that has been successful, and some other or potentially struggles with other school districts in our area?
Yeah. Well, I think the struggle has been trying to keep the schools staffed. Because, if you look at our sub teachers, and I don't think we're unique this way. I think a lot of schools, will have teachers who retire and they come back and they'll sub 2-3 days a week. But you're also looking at the average age of them, and they're getting into, if they're retired, they're in their 60s in a lot of cases. They're worried about catching COVID. So a lot of them have taken themselves off the list. So we have fewer subs to draw from. And we have a lot more people out because not only it's, when we start looking at the close contacts, we've got that as an issue. We've had staff who have had to stay home because the daycare is closed, so they have to watch their child at home. If you're a close contact, it might be your daughter or your son who is sick, or your husband or wife. So there's a lot of different things out there that are really bringing our absence rates up high. And, we've already had it this year where our principals have been substitute teaching in the classrooms. We've had, in some cases, our teachers, they might be quarantined, so they're teaching from home and doing it online at home. So we're not losing a whole lot of teaching time, but we still need an adult in that classroom to supervise the kids. So that's been a challenge.
If you need any volunteers, Fitzy and I can come in anytime you need, and you and I will substitute teach. If you just need a body.
Yeah, well, we always got to balance that out. Is it going to be more trouble than it's worth? I don't know.
Good transition, Dave. Good transition.
But the piece that's gone well is we've been very intentional this year about teaching kids what our expectations are for online learning, teaching the kids how to access the online learning. And our last session we had after Thanksgiving really went wonderful. The teachers taught at school, and it was great watching because they're so animated in front of their computer. And the kids now, even from a kindergartner, they're not doing a lot of things on the keyboard, but the teachers have made little QR codes. They put them up on the computer, it logs them into the site they need to be, and the teacher's talking to them and reading to them. So it's been great that way. We went from attendance that was concerning in fall or in spring to probably 95 to 100% attendance in our last session after Thanksgiving. So that's very encouraging to see.
Yeah, your teachers have done a fabulous job. All teachers have done an unbelievable job, and they really need to be commended for the work they did and just the different style. I mean, when teachers got into this, they never thought they'd be teaching on the computer and teaching in a classroom.
No.
And I think our teachers have done an unbelievable job, and you guys have administrators, and I live in the Rice Lake School District, and Randy is a friend of mine, and they've just done a fabulous job from teaching to athletics to, serving our students. You guys have done a fabulous job, so I just want to give you guys a shout out. So thank you, Dave, and your staff.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, they have been doing a wonderful job.
I want to quickly ask you. I've written down two things that I wanted to ask you before we wrap up. One is, I can't say post-COVID. I think I even said that in our announcement just for the show, post-COVID, and I think somebody even said, post-COVID. When is it going to be, and is there ever going to be a post? What I mean by that is, let's say fall of 2021. You had just talked about potentially, you said dozens of people just in the Shell Lake School District. So let's just say it's even, like I said, 15%, right? So 15% of the people are homeschooling, not remote learning, not in-person learning. Someone else is teaching them. Plus, you do have to throw in the fact that there is the virtual learning, and some kids do well with that, and some, no matter how great teachers are doing, it just may be a little more difficult for them. Point is, at some point, and we're just going to say fall of 2021, everyone's all going to be back in-person learning. And they're maybe all going to be at different levels. Has there been discussion about how do we find out what levels all these kids are at that point?
Yeah, to be honest, as crazy as it sounds, it really won't be. It won't be as bad as it sounds, because in any given year, we always do baseline testing anyway. Because we'd like to say in a third, fourth grade room, any classroom, that everybody's at the same level, and they're not, never have been. So we continue to do that baseline testing and just adjust our instruction and differentiate. We are expecting there to be gaps, just like when the kids came back this fall, there were gaps from last spring. So we've been addressing those gaps and getting the kids up to speed on that. And, I think when we come back, we've learned a lot of neat things too, which one is, now with what we've learned with our online learning, where a student might have broken their leg and have to be home for a week, they can still get instruction at home using our virtual model. So we couldn't do that before. And, as we're coming up into the season where it's getting cold, in the past we've had, where we might miss up to a week of days due to the cold, that we really can still have instruction on those days.
No, you're not doing that. First of all, if the superintendent was an elected position, he would not want to make that decision. You're telling me that if there's a snow day, and that's the greatest
cold,
feeling in the whole world is a snow day, or a day because of cold it could have been. But the point is, that's like the greatest feeling as a kid in the world is yes. And now you're saying, no, still log in and we're still going to have class.
Yeah, to clarify on that. Yeah, we would still have some cold days and snow days, but rather than when we get to that point when we're saying, wow, we've hit our max, we need to extend the school year out.
Oh, sure.
So instead of school ending on June 10th, we're going to end on the 20th. We now have an opportunity to say, okay, you're not going to end on the 20th. It's still going to be on the 10th, but to meet our instructional minutes, we can do this. So that's really what it is. We'll still have those snow days. And because really, if I'm not able to get I guess for a snow day, it means we don't want our teachers trying to get to school neither. And it's hard to teach virtually from school because a lot of our households up here, we don't have the broadband capability.
Right.
Which is another thing I hope ends up as a positive out of the whole COVID, is to get better broadband in this part of the state.
Yeah.
But on a cold day when it's really, we're not having school because we can't have the kids on the bus stops, our buses aren't running, stuff like that, we could theoretically run business as usual on that. We'll just have to weigh that out.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
Fitzy, do you have any?
Teach your kids, man. You're just going to have to teach them. They'll actually teach you. Don't worry. You don't have to teach them. I know your kids. They'll teach you.
Yeah. No, they really do. Yeah. Dave, anything else that you wanted to bring up? Anything else you want to talk about? Any last words or messages for our viewers?
I think the messages are, hang in there. Fitzy was saying too, there is light at the end of the tunnel. I've heard that, it's going to take a while before the vaccines come down to student level. And, the majority of our cases have been, we track everybody who's out of school, anything COVID related, and most of them have been close contacts. I would say out of our close contacts to the people who have actually tested positive, both staff and students, has probably been, less than 10%. So, we've been keeping the numbers down well. I think what's hard now with the COVID, with the vaccine is there's a tendency to say, hey, you know what, the end's in sight. Let's take the masks off. Let's just get back to normal. We all want to do it so quickly, but it's really, the finish line is there, but it's like the reels we see in sports where I'm in first place, and then I back off the 20 feet before the finish line. I get passed up.
Yeah.
We got to keep going until we actually get to the finish line and pass it, which is going to be when the actual vaccines happen.
Yeah, Fitzy's been talking about that for a long time. It's just we're close, but we're not there yet.
And we want to be there. That's the hard part. We just want to get the masks off and get back to normal, but we just got to take it easy.
Fitzy, do you have any other questions for Dave?
No, I don't. I just want to
cool.
Talk about one more thing. As
Sure.
Cold weather is on travel day, which is the 24th. We're expecting some snow, some cold, very cold weather. So make sure your car's got gas, your phone charger, blankets, everything in the car for your travel. I want to wish everybody a safe travel season. Those of you that are traveling to, have Christmas or have a different kind of a Christmas, please drive safe, be safe. Enjoy your holidays. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Ben, I want to I know this is our last show before the end of the year, so thank you for having us in 2020, having this show. Thanks to all of our guests that have been on the show. I mean, I'm looking forward to continuing this in 2021. Yeah. We just do it for fun, and people like it. So I just want to thank all of our viewers, all of the people that sent in questions, everything that we do. We'll look forward to having some more guests on in 2021 and continuing the show. So thank you, Ben, for starting this show and having us on.
Well, thank you, Fitzy, because it was your idea. Well, not really idea. You're the one that came up with the name of the show. And we just started doing it during that Safer at Home. There's there's nothing else to do. And it just kind of, stuck. And I really enjoyed it. I told Jerusha the other day, my wife, she said, how many people watch? I'm like, most people watch it. They don't watch it live. They watch it later. I said, but I really don't look at the numbers because I don't care. I don't care if there's 3 people watching, ever. I'm one of them, and I like it, so I'm just going to keep doing it. So thank you very much. Special thank you to our guest today, Shellick School Superintendent David Bridenhagen, for taking the time to chat with us, and thank all of you for watching. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA, who is also wishing everyone a safe and happy holiday season. ICAA is your local social service organization that works together with individuals, families, and the community to create and support local solutions for local needs. For a full list of services from ICAA, check them out on their Facebook page or on their website at indianheadcaa.org. As Fitzy just mentioned, we are off next week, so until next year, stay safe, keep your social distance, have a Merry Christmas, and as always, have a blessed day.